Hello and welcome to the Womanifestor podcast. I'm your host, Katie J. I'm a manifestation coach and a mentor to badass, game-changing women. I'm here to share insights, tools, and resources that help me and my clients manifest with ease. It's my hope that you'll take what you learn in this podcast, apply it to your life, and embody it daily. When you do, you'll start to notice profound shifts in your life. You'll have more energy, more self-love, more abundance, better relationships, and you'll begin to live life as your most authentic self, which means you'll be able to manifest faster and easier than ever before. Let's get started. Hello. Welcome back to the Womanifestor podcast. I'm your host, Katie J. Today, we're talking about my own manifestation story. I realize that I probably do not share this story enough, but one of my clients asked me, how did you get into manifestation coaching? So I got to reflect for a little bit, and I realized that this is something that I should probably share with you all as well here on the podcast. So let's back up to when I was 17 years old and I was in high school. I was very focused on getting into the college of my dreams, the University of Virginia, UVA for short. And UVA is, as you might have guessed, in Virginia, and I lived in Austin, Texas. So I was an out-of-state student, which means that they only accept about 3% of out-of-state applications. So I knew it was going to be a tricky school to get into, but for some reason, I can't even really explain it, I felt so drawn to that school. I don't know if it's because it felt very historical, because Thomas Jefferson built it, because it had one of the top undergraduate business programs in the nation at the time, and that's what I wanted to study. I don't know if it was because it was far away from home and I was just really excited to explore, probably a combination of all of those things and more. But for some reason, I fell madly in love with UVA when I was 16 when I first decided that's where I wanted to go. So when I was 17, a friend of mine told me to watch The Secret. And by the way, that friend is Amanda Horvath, who has her own YouTube channel dedicated to helping other creators create on YouTube. So you should check her out. But and I'll link to her YouTube channel in these notes as well. But she told me to watch The Secret, and I watched it. I didn't get what the heck they were talking about, but I knew that the people they interviewed in that documentary were so convinced that this worked for them that I was convinced that it would work for me too, even though I had no idea what I was getting myself into. My main takeaway from that documentary was surround yourself with the things you want. Surround yourself with images, surround yourself with words, and surround yourself with people who are connected to or who are related to the life you're creating. I didn't have a term for this. I didn't even really call it the law of attraction. I was a very avid churchgoer at the time. I grew up in a Southern Baptist home. So I was used to asking God for things. I was used to prayer. I was used to spiritual rituals. But this was the first time that I engaged in any sort of law of attraction business. So I put images of UVA on my phone as the background. I bought t-shirts and mugs and surrounded my room with affirmations about getting into the school that I desired, being able to do anything through God who strengthens me, all sorts of positive affirmations related to my goals. I also, coincidentally, started to date a guy whose dad and older sister also went to UVA. So I was doing as much as I could to surround myself with positive feelings and people related to my goals. I ended up getting in to UVA. Yay! And spent 4 years there. Completely loved my time there. Made incredible friends. Had awesome memories. I was a varsity cheerleader for 2 years. I studied abroad and did semester at sea one Maymester. I studied abroad in Costa Rica for a full semester. I had a grand old time. Graduated with my bachelor's in systemic sustainability, which is a major that I made up myself because I didn't like or didn't want to commit to any of the majors that I saw on the majors list. So once I found out that I could create my own major, I combined environmental studies, urban and environmental planning, and economics. And that was my degree, systemic sustainability. Kind of a mouthful. So I did my thesis, I graduated, loved it, had a great time, and by this point in the story, I had completely forgotten about The Secret. I had completely forgotten about the power of manifestation. So then, fast forward to, when was it? Maybe September or August of 2017. By then, Tucker, my partner, and I had started to talk. We were talking long distance. We went on a few dates when he lived in Austin, then he moved up to California, and we continued to get to know one another and see if we were interested in dating one another long distance, and we both were. And during that time, so let's just say it was early September of 2017, I rewatched The Secret. And prior to dating Tucker, prior to even meeting Tucker, I was single for 7 years, you guys. 7 years I was single. Part of that was very intentional. I didn't want a boyfriend. I wanted to travel. I didn't want to be tied down to one place or to feel like I needed to satisfy anyone else except for myself at that point in my life. So I was single for 7 years by choice. Towards the end of that, not so much by choice. I was desperately trying to find someone to love me, and it was a failed attempt every time. So when things were going really, really well with Tucker, I was really excited. And I rewatched The Secret, and by the end of it, I was just in tears. I was bawling my eyes out because I had had this very profound moment where I realized, holy smokes, I've been manifesting my entire life. Either I've been manifesting things that I wanted or manifesting things I didn't want. But I've been asking for everything that's currently in my life. So if I wanted to shift that, I would just need to start asking for the things that I wanted. And I didn't necessarily have a goal at that point of what it was I wanted to manifest versus manifest into my life versus out of my life or anything like that. In fact, what I did next was I went to Peru and with my friend Egan, and we we did the Salcantay Trail, went to Machu Picchu, had a great time. She left and I was there for a few more days. And I remember being at a coffee shop in Peru with really amazing Wi-Fi. And I thought to myself, wow, the work that I'm going to do when I go home, I could actually be doing from my laptop anywhere in the world. And I had that moment. And a few weeks after getting back from that trip to Peru, I went to a music festival and ran into somebody who said, oh, you like to travel? There's a lot of women online who actually, work from their laptops, and that's the lifestyle they live. And I realized that was an option and started to look into entrepreneurship. And my first business was a drop shipping business for journals, travel journals. I wanted to empower more women to share their stories of travel and adventure and self-care and overcoming obstacles. And that product-based business ended up becoming a podcast because it's kind of difficult to run a product-based business while you are traveling the world. It's way easier if you have a digital product. So I shifted into podcast mode, found Wanderwell Podcast, started to interview and learn from women all over the world who were living their best lives and truly manifesting whatever it is that they wanted in whatever field that they were passionate about. And it wasn't until, so I launched Wanderwell podcast in February of 2018. And it wasn't until the summer of 2018 that I actually switched a little bit into coaching mode and decided that I wanted to release a digital product that taught women how to manifest their best lives, that taught women how to overcome those obstacles, overcome limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome. And I invested in a course, actually manifested money to buy a course, a $2,000 course on making courses called Course from Scratch by Danielle Leslie. And I took that course. I still at the time didn't have the confidence to charge anyone for this product because I wasn't even sure I could teach somebody how to do this. So I launched it for free. And a woman named Callie, who I've also had on this podcast to share her story, she joined the course and she did amazing. And at the time, summer of 2018, she was running her business out of her van, her soap making business out of her van. And fast forward a year later, and she is a freaking 6-figure entrepreneur and has a whole team of people and is opening up a shop in South Dakota to sell her goods and other zero-waste goods. So, it took a little bit for me to realize that, wow, I can actually really help people through this. I can actually teach people to surround themselves with what it is they desire and step into the version of themselves that that already has what they desire, and then therefore manifest the life that they want. And it all started with The Secret. Since then, I have hired coaches and mentors and taken other courses to help me and to surround and to support me in this process of guiding and holding space for others. And I still use the tools and tricks and practices that I learned in The Secret to teach others and to manifest in my own life. So when I listened to The Secret, or when I watched The Secret for the second time back in 2017, I was bawling my eyes out because I realized that there was a formula. There was a guideline for how to manifest the things that you want in your life and stop manifesting the things you don't want in your life, because we're all manifesting all the time. That's something a lot of people don't realize. We are all manifesting all the time. And what I want to leave with you guys today is to remember that you are in control of the outcome. If you don't feel in control of the outcome, then it's up to you to take the necessary steps to improve your mindset, to shed layers of doubt and fear and resentment and shame, and to step into the version of yourself who's an energetic match to what it is you desire. So that's my manifestation story. That's why I teach manifesting. It's why I'm so excited about it and passionate about it, is because I've seen how it works in my life and I've seen how it works in the lives of others. And now that I've worked with people one-on-one and in group programs, I've started to gain more confidence and more clarity on that formula and how to teach it to you. That's it for today's podcast. One thing that I'm really excited to share with you is that this coming January, I am relaunching my one-on-one coaching program. I will have one of my one-on-one coaching clients from this past summer and fall. We worked together for 6 months. I'm going to have her on the podcast so you can hear her story and how she learned to manifest her dream home that she's purchasing within the next few weeks. So freaking exciting. So if you are interested in working with me one-on-one to learn how you can manifest with grace and ease, then the easiest way to get in touch with me is on Instagram at Womanifester, spelled just like the name of this podcast, WOMANIFESTER, Womanifester. just send me a DM and we will get the ball rolling on answering any questions you have about what it means to manifest and what it means to work with a manifestation coach. If you enjoyed this episode, had any aha moments, or just like hearing my voice, I would greatly appreciate it if you just took a screenshot of you listening to this podcast and then share it to your Instagram story and tag me. You can also leave a rating and review, because when you do, the search engine, the podcast search engine that you're listening on, will boost this podcast so that more people can get this content and learn how to manifest their best life. I greatly appreciate you tuning in today, and I always love connecting with my listeners. So tag me on Instagram, reach out to me on Instagram, and let's get this ball rolling. Have a good one.